Hi, and welcome to a Minnesota Banking Minute. My name is Jay Tamborino, and today our special guest is John with NuSource Financial. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we're seeing on the ATM being broken into. So, John, what are we seeing out there?
Yeah, good morning, Jay. Thank you for having me on this morning. So we've been seeing a pretty good rash of tow and hook thefts across the upper Midwest, including right here in Minnesota. And I've been fortunate enough to help the TBA, which is the Texas Bankers Association, with understanding what's happening with the tow and hook thefts down in Texas, which has kind of been ground zero for these thefts. And it's been, I'd say, about the last 12 to 14 months in Texas, primarily starting in Houston and then kind of moving north from there is where this tow and hook thefts really originated. And on some of the TBA task force calls, we've learned through the FBI that this was actually is actually part of an organized crime ring with over 400 people involved in this crime ring. So these guys are very, very professional. They know exactly what they're doing. And essentially what they're doing with these tow and hook thefts is they're stealing heavy duty pickups. They're using essentially log chains and an extremely heavy duty hook. And they're finding ways to put that hook into the safe side of the ATM and essentially using brute force and the pickup to pull the safe door off of that ATM, grab the contents, and they're gone. Typically within 3 minutes of arriving on site.
So, the ATMs that are typically being targeted on, are they the in-wall ones? Are they the freestanding? Are they
Yeah,
the small ones?
good question, Jay. They're primarily what we've been seeing is the island ATMs, which have become probably the most common type of ATM installation at banks across the U.S. So those particular machines, all the manufacturers make those products. They've become extremely popular just from the standpoint of easy deployment. You can put them in a number of different places, and they don't have to put a big enclosure around them. But those have been the ones that we've really seen these crime groups targeting across the U.S.
So, what's the best preventative measures that a bank can do to help protect their ATMs?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a number of things that they can do. I think one of the primary things that we'd recommend is really kind of situational awareness of where your terminals are located, and make sure you understand that you know setting these machines up where they don't have easy access to squaring up a pickup to it to be able to hook the hook and the chain to the terminal is probably the number one thing that you should be looking at doing. Besides that, all three manufacturers have come up with some nice enhancements that are available to the terminals. Now, those enhancements could include a complete safe door replacement. They may include just a shroud kit that goes on the current safe door that basically prevents the crooks from being able to put that hook into that terminal to be able to pull it out. They've also come up, some manufacturers have come up with security gates. And the security gates are fantastic in that it's an ancillary device that goes on front of the machine that really, when you see these security gates installed, they're extremely heavy duty. I think it sends a pretty strong message that this bank is prepared, and you're not gonna you're not gonna have a successful attack on our terminal. And also, of course, some things with your alarm should be looked at as well. Changing your vibration sensors on the terminals or adding vibration sensors is something to definitely consider. Also, I would recommend potentially changing how those specific terminals are monitored. We've had a lot of clients that have gone around the central alarm monitoring station and routed those particular alarms directly to their local law enforcement just for a quicker turnaround. Because as I said earlier, most of these machines, they're seeing attacks happening in under 3 minutes. These guys know, when to get in and when to get out, and So anything you can do to kind of create that situational awareness to make sure that you're prepared for this attack. And I would really recommend that people do it on the front end to be proactive versus, we've seen so many people that have talked about it and evaluated it, and then they wait until something happens. And unfortunately, the cost of the equipment is extremely high. The cost of the customer inconvenience is high. And then, of course, the contents, if they are successful in getting these machines, can oftentimes be, in the tens of thousands, sometimes even upwards of $100,000 if it's an ITM type product.
John, lots of good information today. I appreciate your time and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on today, Jay. Appreciate it.